Yo, peep this. You just clicked on Let's View It, and I'm Tyrone Cross. Welcome to my channel, where I try my best to entertain you through various topics and TikTok videos that I react to and we watch together. And if you're a new viewer and you like how I do what I do, at the end of the video, please subscribe and help support me. I'm a tiny channel trying to do my thing. Plus, on this channel, I do a mixture of stuff. This is not just a cop channel. This is not just a LGBTQ or crazy channel. This is not just a Karen channel. This is the smorgasbord of YouTube. I literally react to anything I find interesting. Now, before I get into this video, you know I gotta drop my disclaimer that this video is for entertainment purposes only, or hopefully to open your mind. I do not condone hate, violence, or harassment towards anyone. So if you do any of those things before, during, or after this video, you're on your own, man. Now that that's out of the way, let's start this video. Now, this video, first let me say, I don't usually do racist stuff or race-based opinion stuff, mainly because it seems like 90% of people, no matter which side you are on it, are full of shit. But there seems to be an epidemic going around of a certain type of black person, at least from what I can see on YouTube and TikTok, where they almost seem like they purposely seem ignorant to all of Americans' history that was done to black people and say the craziest things against their own culture. So in this TikTok clip, this black guy is saying the black community is the weakest people in America. But before I go deeper into my opinion about it and tear apart what he's about to say, let's watch this clip first. So you already know, let's view it.
We're seeing kicking, passing cars, crowding the streets, dancing on top of parks.
I'm about to make some people mad. And as I see it, the black community is the weakest link in the United States, and we need to step it up. Where are these children's parents? So yeah, the world sees black children out here acting like this, and then we as black people want to get mad when black children or black people are stereotyped as dangerous or people feel unsafe around us. If we don't want to be stereotyped in a negative light, let's not give people something to stereotype us about. Here is why I say the black community is the weakest link in the US. So we have the lowest household median income, okay? We are also pretty much the most obese race in the US as well. 75% of black adults are either overweight or obese in the US. 75%, 3 out of 4 people. Black men are about, let's say 6.5% of the population, and yet we commit about 50% of the murders in this country. Adjusted to our race percentage of the population, black people commit more crime than any other race. I'm running out of time, so part 2 coming soon.
I don't even know where to start. I guess first, let's just blow his whole thing up right away. Apparently, he doesn't know that the black community had a very rich and very successful community in Tulsa. Matter of fact, we had our own airports and we had our own banks. Does he know this? I don't know. Well, what happened? Well, what happened was the same old story that always happens way back then. A white woman said a black man violated her in an elevator. And everyone knows during those times, a black man doing anything to a white woman was a no-no. Long story short, it turned into a massacre. They burnt down the whole damn city, killed a bunch of black people, and I don't know what happened to all the wealth. That was the Tulsa Massacre, 1921. Google it. And don't get it twisted, that wasn't the only massacre in America on black people. This has happened multiple times all over America. So we had rich, thriving communities, but they were destroyed. And I'm not going to even mention the fact that that was after Jim Crow, after we were put in separate lines for water fountains, after we were forced to give up our seats to white people and move to the back of the bus, after we weren't allowed to get jobs, after we weren't allowed to have homes, after we weren't allowed to go to school or have the proper education that the white schools were having. That's after all that. We had rich, thriving communities. But apparently he doesn't want to mention that, and they were destroyed. And just to put that in perspective, I'm not saying do this, never do anything like this. But let's pretend like we burnt down all the rich white communities right now and destroyed all their banks. How do you think those people would be right now? So apparently he either knows this or he's ignoring it on purpose because he has a point. He's one of those black people that like to erase racism out of America. You can't just do that. You still have to face it. You still have to tell the truth. Now let's just get to what he was saying, that we're the weakest community in America. If he's talking financially, yes. If he's talking about population in prison, yes. If he's talking about the absence of parents, yes. But then again, I don't even know how much that's true because you can be rich and successful and still an absent parent. If he's talking about the highest crime rates, at least reported, yes. So he wants to mention all this bad stuff about our community, but not mention any reason of why we are like this or how we got here. See, these black people who try to erase racism out of American history or the effects of it or the residue that's left behind of it, they want to pretend like all the black people came here in limousines and tuxedos and then we instantly just wanted to grab guns and crack. They don't want to mention that all of this was set up, that all of this was planned. And I get it. We don't get hung by nooses anymore. I could drink from the same water fountain, but it doesn't mean there's no residue of what has been done for way longer than it hasn't been done. And I'm not saying it's an excuse for black people to fall short or to act up or to cause riots or to be violent or to be absent parents. I'm not saying it's an excuse, or I'm not saying they couldn't do better. All I'm saying is I understand how they got there. For instance, no matter the race, if a kid's being abused all their life and they grow up to be a serial killer or violent or beat their wife, it's not an excuse for them to kill or beat their wife. But you get how they became that killer or violent person. But for some reason, this group of black people want to act like we just woke up one morning and decided to be broke, absent, and on crack. Oh, and apparently fat too. But there's a whole shitload of fat white people too. The only people that are skinny are Asians. But even besides that, if he wants to use the fat thing, again, black people's food came from slave food. All the extras, the intestines, all the things the white people didn't want. That's where we get chitlins from. All I'm saying is even the way we eat had a start. And the thing is about the black community, most of the things that start with us in America didn't come by our choice. The rap music that's pushed out into our communities is pushed out there by white people. They own the record labels. But he's not going to say that, right? Do you really think that we're allowed to make positive music and push it out to our communities at the same rate? Of course not. But let me be clear about my stance. I don't think America is just this racist town and everything negative in the black community is because they can't help it. That's not what I'm saying. But I am sick and tired of these black people acting like we just want to be this way and we started acting this way even though we were always at the top. We have started from the bottom of the bottomless bottom. We didn't start at dirt level. We started below the dirt. To be honest, to be where we're at right now seems like a goddamn miracle. After hundreds of years of slavery, years and years and years and years of Jim Crow, it literally ended in the 60s. You don't think we're better off financially now than we were then? You don't think there's more black CEOs right now than there was then? But no, you can't give us props, right? You can't give us props for where we succeed, and you're black. As far as America goes, black people have been through the worst. But at this point, we got more than we ever had. But you look at us as the weakest community in America. Well, I feel really bad for you. That's all I can say, because I don't feel weak at all. And I guess I'll end the video there. Like I said, I don't really like talking about this crap, but I'm sick and tired of these black people coming up here saying this dumb shit. I don't understand what their point is of doing that. Are they just trying to make themselves feel better to act like there's no such thing as racism or there was nothing unfair ever done to us? Does that really make them feel better? If it does, I guess do you and keep thinking the dumb things you think. But until people really know the reality of how and why we are where we are, nothing will ever get better. But go ahead, stay in your fantasy and really think all we got to do is wake up in the morning and do better. You know what makes me curious? And it's just a thought because it can never be true. But let's pretend everything was reversed. I mean, everything. The white people were the slaves for hundreds of years. They had to go through Jim Crow. Everything is reversed. Who owns the businesses? Everything was reversed in history. How do you think white people would be today? And I'll leave you with that question. So tell me what you think. Are you tired of people doing this? Always acting like things just poof out of nothing? All because they have a point they want to prove. Why do these black people do this? Act like there was no cause and effect. Do you think black people are the weakest community? Or do you think we're the strongest community? So tell me what you think. Share this video to find out what other people think. And while you're out there sharing this video, I'm also gonna need you to hit that bell like the Hunchback. Also click that hitchhiker button and subscribe with me. And I'll see you on the next trip.
Day and night. Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.